What's happening, everybody? Sean Daniel with Guitar Control here. Today we are going to learn how to play Harmony Hall. Very cool song by Vampire Weekend that is super easy to play and sounds impressive, which are definitely the songs that you want to have in your repertoire. So make sure you click the link below because I'm going to have the chords for everything you're going to need here. Really easy. 3 chords, 3.5 chords essentially. Capo on the 4th fret, okay? So we have a riff, and then we have a chord progression and kind of like a slight variation of a chord progression. But basically, to start off with the riff, it sounds like this. Okay, so just quick hammer-ons and pull-offs, which is absolutely great, okay? So again, remember that capo's on the 4th fret. We're gonna start with the G chord, all right? Now, the great thing about a G major chord is you can do this like really cool G major pentatonic, E minor pentatonic run in this position, where let's go through just the notes of like the G major pentatonic scale right here. We start on a G, and again, you can get that open E string if you want. If we just go through up to the G string, we have 3, then A string, open 2, D string, open 2, G string, open 2, right? Super, super simple, right? Now what we're doing is we're replacing a G chord with this riff. Or you just play it like G. But you didn't come here to learn how to strum a G chord. You came here to play Harmony Hall, alright? So what we're going to do is we're going to strike 3rd fret on the low E string, 3rd fret relative to the capo, again. Then we're going to start this flurry of hammer-ons. Alright, same thing, just hammering on the 2 string. When I say hammer on, just strike the A string once, and then come down with your pointer finger. Like that. It's not, you can definitely tell it's more of a hammer-on than a quicker. Very smooth like that, right? And then we're just going to go down the line, just like that. E, A, D, G, and then play another G to kind of end that ascending run upwards. Maybe if that's kind of tricky, you want to get that in time, just do that over and over again. Whatever it takes, you know? It's simple. You'll be happy that you spent some time doing this. Now we're going to go back down. We're going to descend through that same scale. But we're going to do a hammer-on and a pull-off. Okay, so make sure you want to get the proper pull-off technique where, again, I'm starting with just an open G string, hammering on. I'll use my middle finger for this one. You can use your middle finger, your pointer finger, however. Now when you leave the string, just kind of pull it off as you leave. If you go straight up, you're not going to get as loud of a strike. You want to hear that instead of no. There we go, right? So okay, so we're going to do the same thing for all of them. Open G, open D, open A. Now I'm doing it with a pick, and the cool thing about that is like to minimize string noise, I'm using my fingers to hold the string below it, so I'm like, see how that B string is not moving? Otherwise, you run the risk of doing that, which is a little bit sloppier, right? So that's the nice thing about kind of like getting really fine-tuned with your strings. You can kind of run through these cleaner string things. But basically, it's just more about the concept of descending through all these hammer-on pull-offs all the way back. So all together, we've got G, hammer, 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 G. So we're just going from G to G, a low G, 3rd fret on the E string, to an open G. That's just kind of like an octave's worth of notes in that scale. Alright, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a C chord. Now the cool thing about in the song is you actually harmonize it with the C chord, but if you're just doing a solo acoustic guitar without a looper, you can get away with something that sounds like it by doing the same thing over a C major chord, where now it's going to sound like this. Okay, the same concept, but through the notes of a C major chord. 3A, 2D, open G, 1B. So we start now down a string with 3A, hammer on D, hammer on G, B, 1st fret, and then open. So now the interesting thing about this is we're actually going backwards from a B note in a C. We start with a B, and that's a B that we're gonna descend from as compared to G. Which actually plays a little bit of a role later in the song when we get to the chords, which we're going to do right now. So basically, that part on the chord chart you're going to see is just the verse, I suppose, would just be G to C. G to C. Which again, that would be a chord version to play. Instead of doing all the hammers, you just be like... You can always find a chord replacement for a riff, and this would just be a G to a C chord, alright? Now, pretty much the rest of the song is going to be a very, very simple chord progression that's going to sound like this. Or some variation of it. Now again, this is more of like a piano type thing, but we're also doing a D major chord to a G major chord to a C chord, and you can hold that C 2 bars, or we can change it from a C to a C major 7, as you're going to see on the chord chart sometimes, right? And basically the rest of the song is like this. And if we're going to count, it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, 3, 4. Alright, so we have a full bar of D, a full bar of G, a full bar of C, and then a lot of times you'll hear kind of like a variation of a C and then a C with a B, which is when you just take your pointer finger out, it's a C major 7 chord, which, remember when we did this, there's that B note, and again, B relative to the capo. This note specifically is actually D sharp in real world terms, but anyways, that's why you can kind of like share that final bar of C with a C. Like that. Now there's a lot of different strumming patterns you can kind of incorporate to it. I kind of like that 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, 3, 4. Down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up. And then eventually when it gets to the chorus, just keep that C all the way through. Go a little more muted. Again, there's an infinite amount of variations you can make with strumming, and it's really just up to whatever you feel comfortable doing that you can do in time. That's why it's great to practice to a metronome, specifically with this song where we have that riff. Because being able to do that cleanly to a metronome is something that is really going to improve your playing, and it's going to sound impressive. Again, we're trying to sound very impressive here. This is an excellent example of how you can do that in a very simple way with just really 3 chords essentially. Again, the variation being a C to C major 7, and then just like a killer Vampire Weekend riff. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Definitely check out the song if you've never heard it before. Really cool track from what I consider is a really great modern band. And if you have any questions or comments, hit us up in the comment section, and make sure to click around on any of these other videos by myself, other great guitar control instructors. And like I said, let us know what your feedback is and what you guys want to see more of. We'll talk to you all soon. Thanks a lot.